guys, my name is Sid. Welcome to another vlog, and today I want to talk to you guys about the new iPads Apple quietly launched yesterday. So they just showed up on their website. There was no presentation or anything about it, but I kind of feel like the iPads whole lineup has gone kind of out of whack and they've just got too many iPads now. But let's quickly talk about the new iPads that they just announced. One's called the iPad Air. So they reinvigorated that name. I guess the Air lineup denotes the mid-range. The naming of Apple's always been weird. On the MacBook side, like the Air used to be the premium model, and then it became the cheap model, which is the low-end one, and then it became the mid-range model in the latest refresh. On the iPad side, the iPad Air used to be the premium model. That's before the Pros came out. And now it's kind of the mid-range model. So what they've done with the new iPad Air is basically taken a similar design to the 10.5-inch iPad Pro, removed a couple of features, made it a little bit thinner, and now they're calling it the iPad Air. They've also reduced the cost. It's about $500. That's not a bad deal actually. The areas in which they compromised for the new iPad, got a lower resolution camera. It doesn't have the ProMotion display anymore, so no 120 Hz refresh rate, which looks awesome by the way. If you guys haven't seen my 10.5-inch iPad Pro review, you can check it out over here. It's also lost the stereo speakers, so there are no speakers on the top of it. It's just at the bottom. One of the things I really loved about the 10.5-inch iPad Pro is how it sounds. And hopefully it shouldn't be too bad on the iPad Air. They also launched an updated version of the iPad Mini. Now the iPad Mini hasn't been refreshed in a long time, so if you bought the iPad Mini 4, you'd get an A8 processor, and now Apple has the A12 processor. So that's been 4 years since they've updated the iPad Mini, so it was due for a refresh for a long time. Another upgrade that they gave was Apple Pencil support. So you have now got first generation Apple Pencil support with the iPad Mini. The iPad Pro 10.5 also has Apple Pencil support. So now officially every single iPad in the Apple lineup has Apple Pencil support. I guess if you like to draw, this is a good update for you guys. Now, Apple is actually selling 5 different kinds of iPads now. So they've got the cheapest iPad, which is $329. And in my humble opinion, if you want to get an iPad for your first time and it's your first experience with a tablet, go for the $329 iPad. It's a pretty good deal. You know, the price is really good. It's got Apple Pencil support, and you don't really miss out on any operating system features. It does have the A10 processor inside it, but it's still capable enough if you want to do content consumption, you want to watch a movie, you want to surf your email, surf the web a little bit, that iPad's going to be fine for you. Couple of things that are not so great about it is it doesn't have the laminated display, so you can see a small gap between the top part of the display and the inside of the screen. But apart from that, it's a really good deal. Second one in the iPad lineup is now the $399 iPad Mini. It's just called the iPad Mini now. I guess it's the iPad Mini 5. So in that you get the processor jump. So you've got an A12 in there, the same processor that's in the iPad Pro. It does have that laminated display, 7.9 inches. So if you want a small tablet, this is pretty much the only way to go. Mamta loves her iPad Mini. She's got the iPad Mini 4. And it works perfectly fine even with that A8 processor inside it. Now the next step up would be the 10.5-inch iPad Air. So you get the A12 processor, an 8 megapixel camera. I think it doesn't do 4K. So the next step up is the iPad Pro. Now this one has that bezel-less design, USB-C, it's got stereo speakers, so you're gonna have a much better experience, but it is quite a bit more expensive, going up to that $800 mark or $799 for the base model 11-inch. I would recommend that if you don't need all that horsepower or you're not planning to use like a bunch of peripherals with your iPad, I think the 10.5 iPad, the $500 one, is going to suit like 80% of people. Then you also have the 13-inch iPad Pro, which is a giant. I mean, it's a beautiful display, amazing for content creation. You could probably do video editing on there. It's really cool, but it's also super expensive at like $1,000. The Pros have the newer Apple Pencil, and once you start adding features to it, like you want extra storage and, you know, cellular and stuff, it goes up to $1,500. I mean, that's a pretty ridiculous price to pay for a tablet. The iPad Pros do have that magnetic pencil, so the pencil for the iPad Pros is a little bit different from the rest of the lineup. So from the basic iPad to the iPad mini to the 10.5-inch iPad Air all use the same first generation Apple Pencil. That's a pretty confusing lineup for the iPads from Apple. I mean, Apple traditionally was all about simplicity in its product range, and I think they've kind of lost their way a little bit. When it comes to the iPad, they just have so many different kinds of iPads and so many options to choose from now. It's quite confusing for customers to choose between all these models. Now, the iPad is by far the most used tablet in the world. In terms of operating system, the most prevalent operating system for tablets in the world is iOS, far ahead of Android or any other Android tablet. They kind of are the standard for tablets, so I guess having this huge range does allow more people to get into it at the cheapest price range of $329 all the way up to $1,500. Apple's definitely trying to keep that tablet market cornered, but it's a little interesting that they launched this new product which is so close to the iPad Pro in terms of performance at almost half the cost. So you're paying $500 versus $800, but I'm pretty sure they're gonna add some killer features for the iPad Pro in the next version of iOS, which is iOS 13. We should hear more about it in June. So let me know what you guys think of this new Apple announcement. Probably the new iPad Air is the best way to go if you want power and performance. Guys, that's it for this video. If you liked it, hit that like button, leave me a comment, subscribe to watch more videos like this one. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.